So a couple of days ago, I told a story time about a friend of mine that got me into a pretty annoying situation. Well, today I'm telling a story time about another friend of mine that did something to a police officer. And let's jump into it. So today's story time all takes place in the wonderful year 2014. Now, I don't remember too much about 2014 other than I was like peak kind of, troublemaker. I was definitely getting into a lot of trouble back then. Not because I thought it was cool or anything. I just couldn't behave myself. I don't know why. I kept getting in trouble at school. I didn't do my homework. I kept skipping school. I kept sneaking out at night and hanging out with my friends. And I just wasn't really the best student or kid at the time. Now, don't get me wrong. There was kids that were a lot worse than me that I knew. And today I'm talking about one of them. So back in 2014, I had this friend. All right. We'll call him Evan. Okay. Now, Evan, I met at school. He was one of my first friends at the school I was going to, and Evan was pretty cool. I remember the first few months of hanging out with him, I really didn't see any red flags or anything that would, kind of throw me off about him. And then as time went on, I slowly started to realize Evan was definitely a little bit, wild or whatever you want to call it. Definitely would get in trouble a lot. But it still wasn't like he was ever crossing a line, in my opinion. He was just being a little bit of a troublemaker teenager, no big deal, right? Well, one day in 2014, this all starts off like any normal day. I get up out of bed, I take a shower. It was a school day, so I was up at 6 a.m. getting ready, and I got on my bus, went to school, got to school. The school day itself was pretty normal. Usually these story times, the story takes place during the school day. This one doesn't. This story time takes place after school. So last period, right? The bell rings, school lets out for the day. I go to my locker. I'm at my locker, putting my stuff away, getting my backpack, getting my hoodie, about to leave school. And none other than my homie Evan comes up to my locker. And he's like, "Yo, dude, what's good?" And I was like, "Ain't shit. Excited to leave." He's like, "Yeah, man, me too." And I was like, "What are you up to today?" He's like, "I don't know, man. I'm thinking about just playing some games or something. Might be on Xbox today. You gonna be on?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm always on." And then he was like, "You recording for a YouTube video today?" Because around this time, I'd actually just made my channel. This was I think maybe a month or so after I just made my YouTube channel and it was starting to get some traction. And Evan's like, "Bet, man, bet. We got to record some gameplay, get some good gameplay for your channel." I was like, "Yeah, dude, for sure. Let's do it." And we're just talking, right? And we both start heading out of school together to the bus line because our buses parked pretty close together. So we were just walking out together, right? As friends do. Well, as soon as we get outside of the school and we're walking down the sidewalk to our buses, this dude approaches us, who I had seen around before, but I didn't really know him or his name or anything. He was a grade above us. But this dude approaches me and Evan, and immediately he gets up in Evan's face. And he's like, "Yo, dude, what the fuck's good? What's good with you?" And Evan's like, "What are you talking about, bro?" And you could tell this dude was clearly pissed off at Evan, right? And Evan's playing stupid. And I'm standing there on the sidelines what the fuck's going on right now? Are they about to fight? And this dude, this random guy, proceeds to start, accusing Evan of talking to his girl. He's like, "Why the fuck you texting my girlfriend, huh? She doesn't want you, bro. Back off." And Evan's like, "Who the fuck is your girlfriend, bro? What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Savannah, you fucking talk to her. I know you do." And Evan's like, "Savannah's single, bro. What are you talking about?" And this guy just freaks out. He's like, "No, the fuck she isn't. She's not fucking single. I saw the text messages on her phone. You've been texting her." And then Evan's like, "Dude, yeah, I've been texting her, but she's never told me she had a boyfriend. I didn't know you existed. I didn't know you guys were dating." And this guy's like, "Bull fucking shit." And he's literally about to swing on Evan because he thinks Evan's lying. Meanwhile, Evan's like, "Bro, calm down, dog. I did not know. I would have never talked to her if I knew you were a thing. I promise." And Evan's trying to be the person that de-escalates the situation, right? He's not trying to fight this dude. He just wants to get on his bus and go home. But here's the problem, man. Whenever Evan would get angry or to that point where he was gonna fight, it was hard to bring him back down. Getting him to that point was really hard, but once he was there, he was there. So I was standing there on the sidelines, also trying to get between them and stop this because I knew if Evan got to that point of full crash out, he was not going to get out of it easily. And even though this guy was a year above us, this guy that was yelling at Evan, I knew that Evan would probably beat the shit out of him because Evan was a lot bigger. He knew how to fight. The dude took Brazilian jiu-jitsu and shit. He knew how to fight. So I knew it would be bad if it became a fight. So I'm getting between them. Evan's telling this guy "Bro, I'm telling the truth. I didn't know about you." This guy's just getting more and more crash out. He's just yelling louder and louder, about to swing on Evan because he thinks that Evan's lying and is secretly going against him. And Evan finally just goes, "Dude, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Check your girl's phone. Like, look at the messages harder. There's not one message about you in there. I'm sorry to break it to you, but like, she lied to both of us, man. She didn't tell me you existed. She didn't tell you I existed. Like, we both got played. And this guy, I guess, just like couldn't handle the thought of his girlfriend lying to him. And instead of like going up to her and, confronting her and getting the truth, he decided to put his hands on Evan. So he pushes Evan back, right? Like, he reaches over me, he pushes Evan. And once Evan hit the ground and fell down, it was too late. Evan was already in that mode. Evan was already like ready to go and defend himself. And he got up off that ground and Evan started to, let's just say, win. Evan was beating this dude's ass, and it didn't take long for an entire crowd to form around us, and everyone's watching, trying to pull their phones out and shit, and I'm trying to get between them. Now, luckily, the fight didn't last too long because Evan knocked this dude out in like 5 seconds. I'm not even kidding. I genuinely think it was under 10 seconds. Like, they started throwing hands after Evan got off the ground. Evan landed like 5 or 6 punches in a row, and on that 6th punch, like, he just knocked this dude to the ground, and he was out. Now, luckily, the dude fell in some grass. It's not like he fell on the concrete and like whacked his head or anything, but it was still pretty serious, and everyone's like, tending to him now and like, freaking out about what just happened. And down the sidewalk, there was 2 school security guards, and they ran over and they got on their radios and they called the school cop. And I'm just with Evan trying to calm him down because he's like screaming. He's like, I didn't want to fucking do that. I didn't want to have to fucking do that. Like, he pushed me first. Like, I didn't want to do that shit. And I'm like, yo, just like chill out, man. Chill out. Like, it's done. Like, calm down. He's like, nah, fuck that shit. And he's freaking out, man. And I'm trying to calm him down. One of our other friends ran over at this point, and he was trying to calm him down too. And the 2 security guards are like, tending to the guy that was knocked out. And then this other security guard runs out of the school because he heard on the radio what happened. And he comes over to me and Evan, and he's asking what happened. And like, we're talking about it. And well, actually, I'm talking about it. Evan's more just like, trying to calm down and breathe because he's still super angry. And then the security called the school cop. And the school cop, he came around from the side of the school building. The cop would usually be on the side and just like posted up over there in his car. So he drove over to us and he gets out of his car and immediately he runs over to Evan and starts trying to detain him. And Evan's like, fuck that. You're not cuffing me. No, I'm going home. Fuck that. I'm going to my bus. And he starts walking towards his bus. And the school cop goes to grab Evan by the arm and he turns around and like rips away from him, winds his arm back and just punches this cop in the side of the head. And next thing I know, my friend Evan's fighting the school cop. And once again, he's like winning, dude. I don't know if the school cop was just like kind of holding back because he didn't want to like, beat up a kid, which would be completely valid. Or if the cop just didn't know how to like defend himself. I don't know. It could have been both, whatever, right? Could have been either or. But like Evan's like beating on this cop. And like after about 10 seconds of that, starting and happening and Evan like beating up this cop, the security guards see this happening and 2 of the security guards from our school run over and like help the cop tackle Evan and get him on the ground and handcuff him. Now after that, they get him up off the ground and he's like, shaking and screaming, trying to like break free and run away, but they're not letting him go. And they escort him inside and there's just one security guard now and he's like with the dude that's like kind of, on the ground still. At this point, the guy had woken up, the guy that Evan originally knocked out, but he was still laying there on the ground, like talking to the security. And at this point, everyone's getting yelled at. There's teachers out there like, all right, show's over. Come on, everyone get on your buses. Get out of here. And that one security guard was like, come on, guys. Like, seriously, let's go. Everyone on your buses. Like, come on. You don't want to miss your bus. So I got on my bus and I rode home just with this crazy like feeling in my chest. Like, I was like worried for Evan. I was worried for what was going to happen to him because I knew he'd probably be going to jail or something or like getting like expelled. I was worried for that dude that got knocked out because even though he kind of started it, Evan did like lay the hurt on him. So I was definitely kind of worried about what happened to him. It was just a whole situation, right? So I ended up getting home about 30, 45 minutes later and I texted Evan and I was like, yo man, like keep me posted on what happens today, bro. Like I'm worried about you. And I didn't hear anything. Just didn't hear shit. Next day rolls around, I go into school, he's not there. And I'm like, damn, dude, like what's happening? And, like I'm hearing rumors and stuff. There's friends of mine that like also know Evan. They're telling me like he got expelled. They're telling me he's in jail. But they weren't like for sure 100% true because like I'd ask them like, oh, where'd you hear that? And they'd be like, oh, I heard it from this guy. And then I'd go to that guy and they'd be like, oh, I heard it from this guy. And like there wasn't really like a true like source. Like there wasn't true proof that, Evan was in jail currently or like expelled yet. So I didn't know. I knew he was probably suspended because he wasn't in school that day, but I just didn't believe all the other stuff I was hearing. So later that day, school ends and I get home and I'm on Xbox and I see Evan log on. And I'm like, holy shit, he's on. And he's in a party. And I joined his party and he doesn't have his mic plugged in. And I was like, yo, Evan, like plug your mic in, bro, like plug it in. And he's just not answering. And I get a text message on Xbox from him. And he said, can't talk. My mom might hear me. This is my only point of contact with you. My phone's gone. I have no computer privileges. Parents forgot to take my Xbox, so I'm messaging you on here. And I was like, dude, like, are you okay? Like, what happened? Like, did you get expelled? Are you like gonna go to jail? Like, what's happening? I keep hearing rumors. And he messages back and essentially tells me he went to jail. He went to juvie for the day and then got out. And he was essentially being put in like a juvenile program for like delinquent kids. But he wasn't like going to juvie and like staying there, like he wasn't gonna like be staying there for like months on end or something, or like, getting locked away. Maybe that just was juvie back then. I don't know. I didn't really like ask about what it was called or anything. But it didn't end there. He also got expelled from school. So that was true. He did get expelled. I was never gonna see him at school again. And then I found out a week later, also through Xbox messaging, that he got probation. So he was put on probation for a couple years. So pretty serious shit, man. Who would have thought that punching a cop would get you in a lot of trouble? Wow, surprise. Nah, but obviously, yeah, Evan got in a shit ton of trouble. But, it seems like he's doing good. I still have him on social media. I follow him and shit. Seems like he's doing good still. So shout out him if he's watching this. Doubt he is, but, maybe he still keeps up with my channel. But pretty crazy stuff, man. It's not every day where you see your friend fight a cop and then get taken down by 3 people and, arrested and expelled and put on probation. It's just crazy stuff, man. Very crazy. Also, the dude that he knocked out, that dude, he was okay. I actually saw him in school a couple days later. He was fine. Obviously, he took a pretty good hit, but he was fine. He didn't get like seriously hurt or anything. I think that because Evan knocked him out and fought the cop, that's why they expelled him. Like maybe if he just did one or the other, they wouldn't have full-blown expelled him. They probably still would have actually, because fighting a cop's pretty serious. But anyway, yeah, man, he definitely did a lot of crazy stuff during this story time, and it was just insane. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Take his 401k and I'll put it on my wrist, wrist, wrist.